it is not mandatory for the work to be done, and there isn't any teacher interaction. So if they have a question for the teacher, they could potentially call, FaceTime, or email, but it's not anything that's even like a Zoom or a Skype kind of feature. So while new material is being introduced, it's kind of like it's left up to the children whether they want to do it or not, and it's not graded. It's just they get like I guess a notation, whether they were fully engaged, or not at all engaged. So I would say that it's really dependent on your child, what they're going to do with that. But for the most part, it would be like they're instructing themselves. They're reading the material, they're doing the work, and then they submit it, and then, the teacher looks at it, and that's pretty much it. So I would say it's worse.
So I would say it's far worse than ever before, because how do you expect kids to transform from in person, working hand in hand with the teacher, to doing everything themselves and online? Like, a lot of them haven't even gained the skills yet to be more independent, to where they can, do stuff without asking, I guess, or without much guidance. For instance, my brother was failing most of his classes because he would forget an assignment, or he didn't know how to do a lot of the stuff. So it's like, how do you go about, teaching them? And the way that they did it was like, they would keep track of everyone, I think through Google Classroom or something, but it's like the teachers didn't even, they didn't even do any like lectures or whatever. So my teacher, I'm in college, so my professors would do like lectures on Zoom and stuff, and his didn't even do that. So I'm like, it was way bad, because there's no guidance, there's none of that. And then you also have kids who didn't have adequate like Wi-Fi, so it was a mess.
So as far as academic wise, I would say worse education by far than what she was getting before. However, when we're talking about real life, her education has gone through the roof, because she has learned real life skills that can last her a lifetime, that have nothing to do with the school system, and thinks that the school system should teach, but they don't. And she has greatly increased her ability to live a successful life based off of the things that she's learned from me during this time frame, and my husband and other family members, because of the fact that we're not wasting time on A equals 5 times CX squared, or something that she'll never use again in her life.
About the same, because I really have to give kudos to my kids' school. They go to a Catholic school. Their school hit the ground running immediately. I mean, within the first closure of it on a Friday, well, they actually had that Friday off. So on the March 12th was their last day of school. The 13th, they were either scheduled to be closed, or they closed just so the teachers could prep a little bit, because the anticipation at first was just a 2-week closure. But they did not waste any time. By that following Monday, there were assignments posted. There was, by that following Monday, rather, we were called to school to pick up all of their belongings. And my older kids had assignments posted by that night, and by that Tuesday, my younger one had assignments posted. And then within a week and a half after that, when we realized we were closed longer, they were on live Zoom classes immediately. There was a schedule established from the get-go, that they're in each content area twice a week, and then they have work in between that. So I would say about the same, as best as they can make it about the same.
There wasn't much preparation time, and they kind of just put things together really quick that didn't quite click with my kids and everyone else I pretty much talked to about it, which I know they didn't have time to really get something going, but I feel as though it was a very light workload. The teachers were just kind of done with the year at this point, and it was just, here's a few reading assignments, here's a math assignment, and then you're done for the day, and that was pretty much it. I feel like they weren't quite getting the learning that they needed. We kind of went a little extra and did a little side learning on our own, but there just wasn't much from the school's point of view for getting them what I think they needed and what the normal curriculum would have been.
It's very difficult to work from home as a teacher because, you know, when you're teaching, you really need the interaction with the students. I teach high school math, and the way that I'm doing that now from home is I'm kind of creating videos that I explain the lesson, and they could see the work that I'm doing, and they could hear my voice. But it's really difficult to answer questions through the computer. It's really difficult to get a feel for if they're understanding the material. It's difficult to assess what they're learning. You know, we're doing our best with the technology, and obviously it's better than nothing. But nothing replaces, like, you know, one-on-one instruction, person-to-person interaction with students, and communicating with one another, and essentially being able to have, like, live classes. Nothing can really replace that, in my opinion. So it is frustrating.
I would say it's a 2. I'm not a teacher. I love my children, but I don't have the patience. I have a daughter that's 5.5, and I have a son that's 3.5, and they're definitely very different. She loves doing school stuff and is encouraged by it, and he doesn't want to do it, and I think he just wants to challenge me. So I don't do it as much, I guess. I haven't been consistent. So I think that their schooling is going down because they were both going to a preschool before this.